this person said, the first guy I went in to see, it cost me hundreds of dollars, and I still don't understand what he told me. At the end of these free consultations, basically what clients are looking for is a roadmap. What do I do from here? Now, maybe people have come prepared with the information that they need to open a file right away, but I'm sure that in more than half the cases they haven't. So you're going to probably have to send them away, but it allows them a bit of a cooling off period. They can then think about you and reflect upon the discussion that they've had with you and compare you with other agents that they've spoken to. Again, if you have been freely giving of information specific in the advice that you provide and give them a roadmap, then they're much more likely to make it back to your office door than to someone else's. Now, people are also looking for a service which is tailored to their particular needs. They value highly responsive service. And once an agent is not responsive, it's an immediate sort of danger sign that perhaps they've engaged the wrong person. This woman said, speaking of an agent she no longer employs, "I don't think she was very professional. I never went to her office. All the communications were by email or telephone. The first thing that made me not satisfied was that it was really difficult to find her." Now, increasingly, many of the communications you will have with clients will be made either through email or by telephone, and that's all well and good. But at the beginning of a relationship, it is good to meet in person to establish that bond of trust and for them to get a measure of you. There's also, of course, a need to remain flexible. People work and often have to deal with you out of hours. So those agents who were more flexible in their approach, particularly working, say, with applicants from overseas who are in a different time zone, that was very much appreciated and valued, that people would stay up late at night or get up early in the morning to take a call. As this person said, you can't be restricted in hours. You can't be a 9-to-5-er. We all work. I just tell my staff that I'm going, but not everybody can do that. It's all a time factor. And if they come to your house, it's different. One of the things that came through is that being a registered migration agent is really like being a bit of a wandering minstrel, I guess. You need to be available on the phone. You need to be available by email. It's probably a good thing to have an office where they can come and see you. But you may also have to make house calls. So it's really, like I say, a bit of being a wandering minstrel. The people that we spoke to outlined certain characteristics of RMAs that they thought set them off as particularly successful. And that is, first of all, that an agent would be persistent and patient and hang in there until there's a result. Here's an example of someone who felt their agent was very patient. "I felt that my agent did not try to convince me or to do things to make it sound easier. In fact, she told me to wait. She didn't do those things to increase the amount of money she made, but because it would help me with my chances of settling here." And here's an example of someone who was persistent. "We sat down and talked, and I knew he was the one. He really went out of his way because I was traveling at that time, and he made sure that everything was looked after. That's what you pay for when you hire a person like that, to do the job until the end." And that's really an important thing for someone where the entire value of the service rests upon a final verdict from the department. So they want to know that you're going to be there through until the end. They're also looking for RMAs who are imaginative in their approach. We heard before about how an agent applied for a visa for the applicant that they knew they would get, so they would accumulate enough hours of work experience for permanent residency. Well, that's an example of an imaginative approach. In addition, well, of course, you're required to set out various options and for the client to make the choice amongst those options. Clients very much do value if you are prepared to make a recommendation and to defend that recommendation. They don't want to have the choice entirely neutral. Part of what they're hiring you for, in their minds anyway, is your professional judgment. Now, how you play that has to be carefully nuanced, because of course you don't want to simply sell one recommendation, but at the same time the client very much values your judgment. At the same time, they value concrete advice. So they're looking for, in the initial consultation, they're looking for what the immediate next step will be. At the same time, clients are looking for foresight about what the best long-term strategy should be, and they're prepared to wait if there are good reasons for doing so, and if you're able to clearly explain them. This fellow says, he gave me 3 options and explained the pros and cons of each. He said the second option, going to court, would probably work, but it could take longer, and there was no appeal. Even though he would make less money, he recommended we take the third option, which was applying for a new visa. Well, and here we have again someone who wants that professional judgment. He said he had a number of options, but he had a preferred option, and he explained his rationale. Now, something else that clients told us that they value were predictable, but not necessarily cheap fee schedules. And I might add here that in the, I guess, 2.5 or almost 3 years, Maureen, that I've been working in the migration advice profession, you rarely see anyone who competes on price who's successful. If you're good, you can charge accordingly. And that also is a signal to clients about how you value your own service. So competing on price, saying you're the cheapest, is probably not the best strategy. Being clear and transparent, though, about how you price things is highly important. As this person said, it was set out in a schedule. The first time when he came, he didn't even charge for that, but it was all set out. Every process there had a fee attached to it. I paid what was there, and that's exactly what he charged me for. So this idea of no surprises, because if you look at the whole proposition of migrating to a country, it's based on an answer at the end of the day. No one wants to be surprised by that answer. You want to know with reasonable surety that you're going to be approved when you begin down this track. By the same token, people are looking for the same certainty in terms of their account with you, that there won't be massive surprises at the end of the day.